Good morning, dear aspirants. Welcome to my channel SAP Rapid. Today I am going to explain the module Material Management in a nutshell. Before we see the definition of material management, let's have a look at this slide. In this slide, we see some materials in the first picture, a truck coming towards and a truck leaving the place. In the first picture, you see some materials like nuts, bolt, wheel, shaft, plastic materials, and electrical item. In the second picture, a truck is coming towards the warehouse, and in the third picture, a truck is leaving the warehouse. Okay, what do these two trucks serve for? The truck coming towards the warehouse actually carrying materials to store inside the warehouse. And the truck leaving the warehouse is carrying materials either to production area of the company or to another plant of the company. I hope by now you might have imagined that the goods receipt is receiving goods in the warehouse and goods issue is sending goods to another place. Yes, you are right. Goods receipt is receiving the goods, goods issue is sending the goods. Like other SAP modules such as warehouse management, extended warehouse management, sales and distribution, FICO, which is finance and controlling, human resource, plant maintenance, production planning, supply chain management. MM is one of the biggest and important modules in SAP. Now let's see the definition of MM. SAP Material Management is a module in SAP that helps manage the entire supply chain process. It enables companies to effectively plan, control, and execute procurement activities, from consumption-based planning to invoice verification and more. So, material management enables a company to effectively plan, control, and procure materials. This is called material management. Let's take a car manufacturing company. There will be production or assembly area, a warehouse or storage location, and post-production area, etc. Look at this slide. We see production or assembling area, warehouse, storage location. In any manufacturing company, mostly these three sections will be there. Organization structure for material management. We say organization structure or enterprise structure. To implement any SAP module, we need to configure enterprise structure or organization structure in the SAP system. I will show how to configure enterprise structure in the next video. Have a look at this slide for enterprise structure for MM. We have client, company code, plant, storage location, purchasing organization, and purchasing group. Each unit is called organizational unit. That is, client is an organizational unit, company code is an organizational unit, and so on. Let's see one by one. Client. In SAP, a client is a self-contained unit that contains technical, organizational, and commercial components. It's a separate entity within an SAP system that has its own customer data, transactional data, and user master information. That is user master data. The data within a client is only visible to that client, and is segregated from other clients. It is a separate entity and contains customer data, transactional data, and user master data. Which means, suppose I have access to the client. I have access to one client, and I will be provided with certain access. I cannot access another client because I am not assigned in that client. So those who are assigned to a client can have access to that client. Next, company code. In SAP MM, a company code is the smallest organizational unit for which you can create a complete set of accounts separate from other accounts. You can use company codes to manage accounts for multiple companies simultaneously and to define legal entities or commercial places within the SAP system. Remember that company code always deals with financial activities or accounts related activities. Plant. A plant is an operational facility within a company code. Example, production facility, regional or branch office. As an organizational unit within logistics, the plant subdivides an enterprise from the viewpoints of production, procurement, maintenance, and materials planning. They can also serve as valuation area. Plant is nothing but in a company, car manufacturing company, plant is the place where they manufacture the car. It includes production area, assembly area, warehouse, storage location, etc. And also a plant serves as a valuation area. For example, a company has 4 plants. For example, in India, the company has one plant in Chennai, another plant in Mumbai, and another plant in Delhi and in Calcutta. So a price varies from place to place. For example, per kg, a plastic sheet or a rubber sheet, per kg, take for example 100 rupees in Chennai and 120 rupees in Mumbai and 150 rupees in Delhi and 90 rupees in Calcutta. So the valuation is depending on the location. So location is nothing but plant. Chennai plant, Mumbai plant, Delhi plant, and plant in Calcutta. So a plant serves as an evaluation area. Storage location. A storage location is an organizational unit which actually differentiates between the different material stocks in a plant. Storage location is a place where stock is kept physically. A plant can consist of multiple storage locations. Actually, the storage location is the place where we can store the materials we procured from the vendor or supplier. And you will have storage bins. Inside the storage location, you will have different racks or bin to store different materials. For example, steel materials are stored in one bin, plastic materials are stored in another bin, like that. Purchasing organization. Purchasing organization is an organizational unit within logistics that subdivides the enterprise according to the purchasing requirements. A purchasing organization procures materials or services, negotiates terms and conditions of purchase with vendors, and assumes responsibility for the transactions. A purchasing organization is nothing but a department responsible for procuring materials from the vendor and negotiate terms and conditions with the vendor. So inside the purchasing organization, we have purchasing group. Purchasing group is nothing but a group of buyer, nothing but staff working in the purchasing organization. A purchasing group is a key organizational unit for buyer or group of buyers responsible for certain purchase activities. The purchasing group is internally responsible for the procurement of a material or class of materials, and externally the purchasing group supplies the contact person for vendor. The purchasing group is not aligned to other units in the company structure. Types of procurement. We have 2 types of procurement: external procurement and internal procurement. Let's see external procurement. In external procurement, we have 8 steps. 1. Determination of requirement. 2. Determination of source. 3. Vendor selection. 4. Purchase order processing, nothing but purchase order creation. 5. Purchase order monitoring. 6. Goods receipt. 7. Invoice verification. 8. Payment processing. When a company decides to purchase a material, first it will determine the requirements, what materials to be procured, and then it will determine from which source we can procure the material. And they will send, I mean, the company will create a tender and send it across various vendors and receives quotations from the vendors. So with the help of the quotations, the company will decide with which vendor we can have an agreement for the procurement of material. And then once the vendor is fixed, the purchasing department, the purchasing group will create the purchase order. Once the purchase order created, it will be sent to the selected vendor, and we can monitor the purchase order about the status, whether it is delivered on time, whether the material is loaded on the vehicle, whether the transportation is on the way. We can monitor all these activities with the purchase order. Once the vendors send the material via a truck, it will arrive to our warehouse. So the term is called goods receipt. We receive the materials from the vendor, the term is called goods receipt. And once we receive the material, the vendor will send us the invoice. So after invoice verification, we will make the payment to the vendor. This is called procurement cycle. To manufacture a car, we need some material, a metal sheet, we need plastic sheet, seat cushion and seat cover, wheel, tire, tube, engine, steering wheel. Many things are there to make a car, to manufacture a car. So we need to buy all these material from a vendor or from a supplier. When the need arises, we will initiate the procurement process. So the first, second and third step cannot happen repeatedly, because this is for the first time we determine the requirement and we determine the source, and then we select the vendor. Once we fix the vendor, we can directly create purchase order in the next procurement cycle and in the future procurement cycle. So once we fix the vendor, we can directly create purchase order and send it to the vendor. Now, internal procurement. Internal procurement process means procuring materials internally. Let's say if there is a shortage of material in Chennai plant, the Chennai plant can raise an STO, stock transport order, to Mumbai plant to procure some materials. The procurement is within the same company. Therefore, no invoice is raised, but the goods movement can be posted in the inventory. Imagine that the location 1 is the Chennai plant and the location 2 is the Mumbai plant. The Chennai plant creates an STO to Mumbai plant, who will deliver the materials to the Chennai plant. So now let's see the workflow here. The Chennai plant raises an STO and send it to the Mumbai plant, which is location 2, that is supplying plant. So Chennai plant is receiving plant and the Mumbai plant is the supplying plant. Supplying plant receives the STO and listed the STO as requirement. Now the Mumbai plant delivers the material ordered from the Chennai plant. From the storage location of the Mumbai plant, they deliver the material, which is called goods issue. Once the goods issued, it will be carried in a vehicle. So when the vehicle is on the road, is on the way with the material, the term is called stock in transit. Transit means on the way. Okay, now the vehicle arrives the storage location of Chennai plant. So as I told earlier, whatever goods comes towards the warehouse, the term is called goods receipt. And since the procurement is happening internally within the company, that is from one plant to another plant, there is no invoice raised. Now let us discuss about subcontracting. It's another type of procurement. Let's see what is subcontracting. Your company provides components or raw material to a subcontractor, and the subcontractor manufactures or assembles the finished product using the components supplied by your company. Okay, because the facility to make that finished product is not available in your company. Let's say, for example, when your company does not have the facility to produce or manufacture or assemble the required product, for this reason your company outsources this activity to a subcontractor. So this process is called subcontracting. Now let's see the process involved in subcontracting. For subcontracting, you need to create subcontracting purchase order. For external procurement, you need to create purchase order. Internal procurement, you need to create STO, stock transport order. And for subcontracting, you need to create subcontracting purchase order. So your company creates subcontracting purchase order. Followed by that, you should provide the components to the subcontractor. So now the first step is creating subcontracting purchase order and send it to the subcontractor. The subcontractor will wait for the components because you are providing the components to the subcontractor to make the required product. So followed by the subcontracting purchase order, you send the components to the subcontractor. So that is called provision of components from your storage location. And the subcontractor manufactures the material ordered and then delivers the material to the storage location of your company. So goods receipt of the finished material made by your subcontractor. Here invoice is raised because you are subcontracting the process to a subcontractor. Obviously the subcontractor will raise the invoice for the service or the material they have made. So the invoice item can be a service or a finished product. After invoice verification, you will settle the subcontractor. So this is called subcontracting. Next one is vendor consignment. Your company procures material from a vendor and stores them in a special stock called consignment stock. Initially, the vendor supplies the material without an invoice, but the vendor still holds the ownership of the supplied materials. When your company wants to use the material from the consignment stock, the liability arises and a credit memo will be sent to the vendor stating that some quantities of materials are used from the consignment stock. The vendor is always the owner of the stock until your company uses them. Please note that the vendor is always the owner of the stock until your company uses them. And once your company uses the material from the consignment stock, subsequently the invoice is created by the vendor once your company withdraw the material from the consignment stock. But the company needs to pay the vendor for the quantity they have withdrawn. This process is known as vendor consignment. Now let's see the types of purchasing organization. First one is plant specific purchasing organization. Second, cross plant purchasing organization. And third one, cross company code purchasing organization. Let's see one by one. What is plant specific purchasing organization? So in plant specific purchasing organization, one purchasing organization can procure material for one plant. For example, here in this picture, purchasing organization A can procure material for plant 1 and purchasing organization B can procure material for plant 2. Both are coming under company code 1. So this is called plant specific. That is, a separate purchasing organization can procure material for one plant. That is called plant specific purchasing organization. And what is cross plant purchasing organization? So in plant specific purchasing organization, one purchasing organization procures material for one plant. In cross plant purchasing organization, one purchasing organization can procure material for more than one plant. That is, A purchasing organization can procure material for plant 1 and plant 2 under the same company code. Okay, and the third one, cross company code purchasing organization. In cross company code purchasing organization, one purchasing organization can procure materials for more than one plant and for more than one company code. So that is called cross company code purchasing organizations. So in this scenario, the purchasing organization A can procure material for plant 1 in company code 1 and can procure material for plant 2 in company code 2 and for plant 3 in company code 3. So in this case, the purchasing organization will not be assigned to any of the company code. So when you create the purchase order, it will automatically ask for the company code, for which company code you are procuring material. Okay, for which company code and for which plant you are procuring the material. This is called cross company code purchasing organization. So by now, hope all you understand what is material management and the process involved. So we will discuss in the next video in more detail about the material management and I will explain how to configure enterprise structure in the SAP system in the next video. Thank you for watching my video. If you have not subscribed to my channel SAP Rapid, please subscribe. Thank you.